It is once again the most important show on the calendar year for Ring of Honor. Welcome, everybody, to the Benedict community and wrestling fans galore. This is Ring of Honor Final Battles. We return home to the HammerStein Ballroom, where truly there may be a final battle in store for the women as they main event once again, and so much more to come. Let's freaking go. Welcome to the discussion. Hello, everybody. Season's greetings and happy holidays to all of you. You know what this is. I am the simple, honorable man. My name is Noel Foster. With me, as always, Renegade Wrestling JJ Williams, for we are part of the Super Reliable Studios. And of course, thanks to Walter Cruz building this brand for City Predicting, I had to completely rebuild a studio, but I got the graphics and plugs off all that later. For those that are tuning in for the first time, thank you as always. Please subscribe, comment, tell a friend. We do this for all the biggest shows, pay-per-views across all things wrestling. Shout out to W family. And of course, I have my predictions links for all the brands of wrestling, and you will find the form in the comments down below once the stream concludes. It is already on my socials. This is the last stop for the ROH League, the simplest of the leagues, for it's only 3 pay-per-views, which I actually do enjoy. And of course, also, if you want to dictate the conversation, there are PayPal description links. So please, if you want to dictate PayPal, my friends, please support their passions that we are able to demonstrate to you, because you encourage us to continue. And of course, Super Chat, as simple as that. Before we get into things, as always, happy holidays, my friend. Good to see you, JJ, and what's going to be the most unique weekend before Christmas finally arrives. And we're kicking things off with honor, with Ring of Honor Final Battle back at the HammerStein Ballroom for the 13th time. Crazy. How you feeling about this show, bro?
Well, first of all, Merry Christmas to you and your family as well. I don't really know. You know, we were talking a little bit in the green room beforehand. This is the show I watch the least. Like, I think the only thing I watch less than Ring of Honor is New Japan and that stuff.
Fair enough.
So I have literally no idea what's going on. And I mean, I know you're going to give a little synopsis rundown of the backstories on these matches, but I have no idea what's going on. I'm just going into this blind. I've basically picked with my heart as opposed to my brain, because again, I don't really know what's going on. I have a certain way of feeling about a couple of these matches, and I especially after watching your impromptu last night, I had to get on here to speak and testify on a few of these things.
Well, appreciate you for doing that. Thank you for watching. Please go support my friends in ATW, folks, including the KRG King, as me and him did go impromptu a little bit on the biggest matches on this card, because Mammoth, Tony Khan, I blame you for making that a reality once again, has given us a full card once again and a crazy 0 hour. And your predictions, folks, will be final, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the start of the show, when the 0 hour begins. So I think without further ado, I'm looking very forward to this as a lifelong fan of Ring of Honor. And of course, Final Battle truly is a final stage, a conclusion, a finale of so many of the greatest upsets, wins, moments, and wildest honorable takeaways we've seen. Whether it was Tag Ladder Wars, whether it's the Ring of Honor World Championship, whether it was the women in the past, who of course main event last year and are main event again this year. And as I said, we're coming back home to the spiritual home of Ring of Honor, where some of those greatest matches took place, not even just on this show name. But without further ado, JJ and City Predicting community and professional wrestling fans too, let's get right into it. So again, we're going to be covering Ring of Honor Final Battle. Welcome back, folks, to Ring of Honor Final Battle. Once again, we are in the spiritual home of ROH, the HammerStein Ballroom. And yes, I know they called it Manhattan Center like 4 times. Same thing. Dadgummit. It's the 13th time we are in Ring of Honor's home, the HammerStein Ballroom, where Final Battle has taken place. The mainstay of this company since literally its inception in 2002, as we go back into Final Battle now for the 23rd time. Absolutely insane. And of course, you folks can be part of the conversation and reaction by becoming a member of Honor Club today. It's exclusive for Honor Club members. You don't have to buy it on Triller TV for $25 or $30. Thank Christ. And a 0 hour will be available on Ring of Honor social media platforms starting 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be going live with our own little last-minute hype, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then the actual pay-per-view, if you want to call it that, begins 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, I blame you. We have 4 matches on the 0 hour and 9 matches on the main card. 13 matches total.
Damn. Don't blame me. Blame
He hasn't done it for a while. He hasn't done that for a while. You know that. Why did he do that at the end of the year? Got it.
Because Ring of Honor only has 3 freaking shows.
That doesn't make
So they
any
got to get everybody on the card. Every pay-per-view is WrestleMania. Got to get everybody in there.
Well, also with negotiations, allegedly, on also getting it finally on some sort of like bigger streaming or cable satellite channel deal. Maybe that's the case. Anyway,
And that plays into how I feel about a couple of these matches.
I figured, and you heard what I said about a couple last night when I said mine versus hard, and I expect more from you because sometimes look at the best for business, but also the best for us in expectation as fans. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's start with the 0 hour. We got some tag grudges and, of course, a women's exhibition. And I always say the women for last because the women for me are the most important. But let's start with this. I'll bring you up to speed with a little bit of tag team warfare. It's Shane Taylor Promotions' newest recruits, STP. It's the Infantry going up against the Undisputed Kingdom. This really all stems with the fact the Undisputed Kingdom has not been appreciating the dishonorable actions of the Infantry since they joined STP and Shane Taylor Promotions alongside Lee Moriarty. But also, Matt Taven is coming off a loss to Tiger Style Lee Moriarty last week on Ring of Honor, where he was trying to complete the Grand Slam for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship, and he failed to do so. In recent 8-man tag team action last night, the Undisputed Kingdom lost against the grizzled young veterans and, of course, Shane Taylor Promotions. Undisputed Kingdom looking to bounce back, and there's still, the jury is out whether or not these guys still have Ring of Honor tag team title intentions down the line. So straight up, it's a grudge tag match, and you got to consider with this tag team division, everyone's going to be lobbying to try and challenge for Ring of Honor tag team championships, we'll talk about later. You know a little about the Infantry, seeing them in and out of AEW and ROH, and the Undisputed Kingdom, Bizarro World, in ROH, they're basically the faces here. So what do you got to say about this?
I've got the Infantry in this one because the Undisputed Kingdom has pretty much been dead since the Devil Angle fell flat on its face. You know, I mean, and that's no disrespect to the Undisputed Kingdom or nothing, but they had such potential as a unit as that angle was beginning last year. And then MJF going out with an injury, Cole going out with the injury. Roddy, the only thing that was doing anything respectable.
Right.
Taven and Bennett have just been there.
They're just there.
And while this could be a good opportunity for them to kind of control, alt, delete, and reboot going into 2025, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, and STP has made a New Year's resolution, quite particularly, that they want more gold in their ranks. Of course, we're talking about Lee Moriarty, the current Ring of Honor Pure Champion, we'll talk about later. Shane Taylor, one of the most notorious Ring of Honor World Television Champions. You wonder if he wants that back or wants to go maybe after the Ring of Honor World Championship. And I think, honestly, 2025, STP could be the force to be reckoned with. And I think they add on to that here. Plus, the Infantry, since they've joined STP, they've kind of been on a win streak ever since adopting this new heel Rumble, Batman Rumble persona, as Shane Taylor was trying to bring them out to be more serious. And we saw the Infantry earlier this year face the Undisputed Kingdom and fail when it came to the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships at Death Before Dishonor. So for me, I agree with you here. I think the Infantry is going to win by hook or by crook. I mean, I'd be surprised if they won honorably, but we'll see. Shout out, by the way, the 15 of you that's putting in predictions so far, include Matt to Kimberly, King, you, Rocco, Colin, Big_Space, best name ever, Jerry Slaughter, Jeff Chadwick, my Horseman's a prediction, Dwayne Atkinson, Josh E. Walter, just to name a few. And it looks like right now a majority are actually going with, well, that's interesting. A majority are actually going with the Undisputed Kingdom, actually. 73%. We're in the minority. And it might be one of those things where they think after what happened on Thursday, Undisputed Kingdom needs, to find a way to bounce back. So maybe this tag match is a way that they do it. And
possibly, I mean, it also could just be a thing of name recognition. Like, I know very little about the Infantry, so some somebody who doesn't follow ROH that's just doing the predictions league because they want to be part of your league may just be picking Undisputed Kingdom because they know who the hell they are.
True. And again, learning by doing is some of the best ways to actually understand what you may be watching and you might invest in it later. So I respect that. There's a reason why I encourage people to just left enjoy wrestling. Predicting truly is just about have fun, see what happens, and be surprised if you're right or wrong in the result and who performs. So again,
I know there's one match here on the 0 hour that I did exactly that because I have no clue who the hell the other team is.
Fair enough. Well, let's go ahead and move on real quick and see if
this one right here. Yep. Who the hell is Lee J? I got no clue what the hell that is. I went Gates Agony for name recognition. Again, Gates Agony, from what I've seen of them on television as of recently, have been getting their asses handed to them. They have been a shell of what they used to be. But I have no idea who the hell Lee J is. So I went Gates Agony by name recognition.
That's fair, and I'll give you a brief synopsis. Again, 0 hour, you don't have to give a lot because 0 hour you expect exhibition. Well, here you go. And here's another one of 3 tag exhibitions that do on the 0 hour alone. But to make things simple, Lee Johnson and DJ Naduka, they recently formed a tag team out of respect. DJ Naduka, of course, impressed during the Path to All In, heavily broke out during the tour in Arlington, Texas. And since then, he's been at Lee Johnson's side and they basically formed a dynamic, especially when Lee Johnson was getting a double team. You had to even the numbers game. We just literally saw Ring of Honor TV for those that watch like me, because I keep up when I can. Of course, go-homes I always watch because they're go-homes. Lee Johnson did get a win against Bishop Khan out of nowhere. All it took was 3 seconds, a roll-up. But the interesting thing was post-match. Bishop Khan held off Toa Liona from trying to assault Lee Johnson and into the Duke, and he was trying to come into play. And he whispered something to Toa's ear, and we have no idea what he said. I don't know whether or not Bishop Khan, literally a student from the Ring of Honor Dojo, has a game plan here, or there's a different type of strategy involved. But to your point, Lee J is a team that just formed, the Gates of Agony. They've been trying to figure themselves out ever since, since Prince Nana pretty much, and the Cage of Agony kind of went belly up. For me, this was a crapshoot, but I think right now, because the unknown of Toa Liona intrigues me the most, I think Toa Liona has the most potential out of all 4 of these men. I kind of basically flipped the coin, and I went with Gates of Agony as well. So just to give you a brief summary there. Then, yeah, Lee J, which is one of the weirdest names I've ever seen, and again, Lee Johnson. So it's like, okay, am I just getting a shorthand notation of one person here? Well, what's happening here? What's happening? So yeah, I went with Gates of Agony because they needed, I don't know, something about them. Something! That's the only time I'm doing it.
Waiting for it.
I only do it one time and it's not TNA. By the way, go check out the TNA Awards Part 1 review done by Datula and Burt Macklin on Wrestling Time, folks. Appreciate you, pal. Nola. Congrats to Jordan Grace and Joe Henry on winning awards. But it's one of those things where I just don't know about the Gates of Agony anymore. And Bishop Khan, again, he is Ring of Honor alumni. And I kind of am hoping more things for him. But if they don't win here, then what was even the whisper? Are they going to go separate ways? Does he want Tola to go rogue? I don't know what to expect out of this tag match, and especially this newly formed duo. So I just went with Gates of Agony, almost based on the same thing as you, just because I think there's something going to give after what Bishop Khan whispered to Toa Liona. So there you go. Okay, well, you do know these 2 teams, so whether or not you grit your teeth or join the Dark Order, JJ, you might be able to say a little bit more about this, because it's the Dark Order, everyone's favorite duo, number 3 and number 4. By the way, Brody Lee, recently we celebrated his passing once again, forever exalted. Of course, talking about Johnny Hungy, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds. They take on the former W Strong Tag Team Champions. Grit your teeth! Dez, Drake, Zach, Gibson, the grizzled young veterans. And this really comes down to the shenanigans that the Dark Order has pulled, including taking their scarves. And again, Grizzly Young Veterans take Dark Order as a joke, and I can't say I don't blame them for that. With the fact that the Grizzly Young Veterans just lost those Strong Tag Team Championships, it does make me wonder, are they going to be more of a mainstay in Ring of Honor? For the longest time, people have been wondering when the hell is John Cena and Alex Reynolds ever going to hold gold in the companies that Tony Khan runs. I guess that Evil Uno's been trying to realign them, refocus them, and maybe a win here would help. But again, John Cena was assaulted, not part of the match last night. He was assaulted, and Alex Reynolds was on the losing side of the Squadron of 4 in last night's 8-man tag main event. So what do you guys say regarding this?
Everything that I said in the first match about the Undisputed Kingdom, insert here for the Dark Order.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gritting my teeth all day, every day. It's GYV, got to get this match, got to get the win. The Dark Order is a joke. I say it every time I'm on a Simply Predicting with you, and their name comes up. They ain't been shit since Brody Lee died. Period. There may have been little glimmers of hope, but they ain't been shit since Brody died. At this point, I swear to God, the only reason they're still together is out of tribute to Brody. Some sense of obligation. And if we're being real, if they were to break up, where the hell would they go? What would they do? Ain't none of them going to get legitimate singles runs. They're going to be enhancement talent. They're going to put people over, which is pretty much what they've been doing since Brody died. Better to do it as a team than as solos. Because at least as a team, there's still the potential, the possibility, again, the glimmer of hope for a trios title run. Otherwise, there's nothing. Grit your teeth, give me the GYVs. I'm so bummed I couldn't have been there in Long Beach to watch them wrestle live and in person, damn it.
Right, you were like almost just there. It's like, again, bro, there are patches. I don't hold it against you. It's like I tell my friends that when you miss an opportunity, even I have said this to myself. Sometimes one opportunity missed just means a bigger opportunity is waiting for you down the line. And I absolutely agree with you about grit your teeth. I'm definitely going with the GYV on this one. And a majority are actually going with the GYV as well. 80% versus 20% for the Dark Order. As far as the last match, same thing as well. Majority going against of Agony, 74% versus 26% for Lee J. And just looking at some comments real quick. I mean, again, two of the most creative, spiritually headed, respectable minds and workers in the business. Bray Wyatt and Brody Lee. Those two men did so much for everybody that was around them. I was recently watching an Evolve match back in the early days of John Moxley when he took on Brody Lee. Something this day still tells me that if we had the chance, we would have ran back Brody Lee and John Moxley, and I think Brody Lee could have been AEW World Champion. Agreed. I really did. I also think John Silver, though, he does have singles potential because he actually is entertaining, and he also is great in the ring. I would like to see him maybe pursue a singles title down the line. I've been saying it for the longest time, but who knows? But to your point also, there are trios titles still in Ring of Honor held by Dustin Rhodes and Von Erichs, so maybe that could still be a thing. Hey, look at that. JEWMEACHAM. That's Jeff Meacham, folks, in the house. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for tuning in. And hope everything's well. Please follow good old JM, folks, on all the social medias. Of course, we'll plug that towards the end. All right.
And I did want to take a second. I saw my dad's thing pop up in the chat as I was speaking. Good to see you, Dad. And then good to see you, Jeff.
I acknowledge everybody in the chat, at least for 10 to 15 seconds, because you all make this possible. And truly, we do this not for ourselves, but for you and for the love of wrestling. Go check out that show on the Renegade Wrestling Daily channel, too. Thank you, by the way, as always, Dwayne, Daniel, Jeff, Jerry, Charles, Matt. If I didn't thank you all before, and I'm sure I will thank you all again, because, again, you all make this possible. And to everybody, whatever you celebrate, happy holidays to you and your family. I wish you all nothing but genuinely the best. Let's go ahead and continue on into our 0 hour, where we're going to enjoy the best of a mess, not named Chelsea Green, but everyone's favorite in AEW with a voice that can sing. Harley Cameron. Harley Cameron goes one-on-one for the first time ever with Stardom. This is a Stardom exhibition match. Say hello to Hanako representing Empress Nexus Venus. She is known as the Tall Wonder Tower with 2 years of experience. She comes to us from Stardom, tagging alongside Micah, the former World Stardom champion, in the Goddess of Stardom Tag League. Harley Cameron has also been developing these friendships lately in ROH, including alongside Rachel Ellering, who is no stranger to Mina Shirakawa. Makes me wonder, could it be a very unique tag team exhibition down the line? But straight up, it's a one-on-one singles exhibition interpromotional match that Ring of Honor has always been founded upon in its entire history. Insert company here. I love Harley Cameron, but you basically talk about what Dark Order was. At least Harley Cameron is also an incredible talent outside the ring. I gotta go with Hanako here.
I went with Harley just because, again, name recognition. I don't know much about Hanako. I hear you say her name and I start thinking Adam Sandler. It's like, put on your Yamako. It's time for Hanako.
Hanako. Yeah, once we land, I understand that. Continue.
And if Jeff is still listening, hopefully he's got his earbuds in, because otherwise the driver, my daughter's mom, is probably like, for that Hanukkah joke. But yeah, I see big things in Harley, and I think she's been doing real good ever since the TV gimmick has kind of fizzled out. I think a big victory over this Stardom talent will set her up for promising 2025. So I went with Harley.
That's fair, actually. And Harley Cameron does have more experience than Hanako, who's still very much in the genesis of her career, 2 years. She came from prominence and literally been with Stardom ever since. So it's one of those matches where this one could really surprise us. I also wonder if Rachel Ellering is going to be at ringside or in Harley Cameron's corner. So feel the wrath of Harley Cameron, Hanako. But this is going to be a unique first-time experience, and I wonder what it could lead to when we've already seen the likes of Mina Shirakawa, Mai Sierra, Asume, Micah from Stardom be presented in Ring of Honor, especially with Stardom's biggest show of the year coming up on the 29th, Stardom Dream Kingdom, that I lightly elaborated upon during my impromptu last night with King. And again, it's on pay-per-view, a Bima service if you want to watch it. That's why we're not covering it, because one, don't think anyone knows what that is. Two, no one's going to have the money because the 29th is literally the last practical wrestling day of the year after the holidays and after World's End. So we're all going to be broke as a joke. So there you go.
Correct.
And it is what it is. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this the most in African women's wrestling. I love Joshi Pro. I love International Women's Showcasing. And this is going to be a fun match to call because I'm curious if Harley Cameron's madness can handle the strength of Hanako. She's quite a very tall athlete. So good luck to both. All right. Well, let's go ahead into the actual main show now, believe it or not, folks. That was the 0 hour. Now we're going to get into the thick of things. We're going to start with Ring of Honor alumni, as we got basically a personal, way more than professional grudge being brought out here 12 years later. In what started at Survival of the Fittest, QT Marshall has never let it go since, ever since the surgery to his neck. I had no idea about that. Damn. But speaking of the franchise, we got Jay Lethal back in Ring of Honor on Final Battle, people. It's Jay Lethal versus QT Marshall for the first time ever in singles action. But again, the last time they met was, of course, in Survival of the Fittest back in 2012. What's interesting about this is, of course, we know Jay Lethal became the longest reigning Ring of Honor world champion, a 2-time Ring of Honor world champion. Going on that, but QT Marshall, a lot of his career was lopsided due to a neck surgery, and he blames Jay Lethal for that. He also blames Jay Lethal right now, or thinks Jay Lethal has blatantly disrespected him, because believe it or not, Jay Lethal has intentions of trying to get back the Ring of Honor World Championship. And that's some crazy nonsense. But QT asked him to wrestle him, and basically Jay Lethal said no. But he didn't do it necessarily in a disrespectful way. He did it more in a prioritized way because, again, he wants to get back in the World Championship picture. There's no disparagement on Jay Lethal's part, but he just has bigger ambitions than wrestling QT Marshall on Ring of Honor's greatest stage of the year. And to a wrestler, I could see how they could take that personally, sensitivity. But again, Jay Lethal, for those who know Jay Lethal, he's one of the most humble, modest guys you ever find in this business. He is Ring of Honor, period. And for me, I look at Jay Lethal when he first came in here, and I'm like, Jay Lethal, this is your home. Remind us why you were the franchise. And plus, QT Marshall just jacked him in the jaw yesterday with a right hand. Jay Lethal's coming in here pissed. I'm not betting against Jay Lethal here. I'm going with Jay Lethal. Your thoughts on this?
I'm going with Jay Lethal also. In his day, QT Marshall may have been great, but for the better part of the last couple years, he's been a joke. It's hard to take a joke seriously. If he comes out here swinging and can defeat Jay Lethal, then maybe the next time I hear his name in a match, I'll take him a little bit more seriously. But he's got a lot to prove to me because he ain't been anything important for a while.
Yeah. This is not proving ground either. This ain't going to go 10 minutes. They got up to a 30-minute time limit. But again, the last time we saw Jay Lethal in ROH, I think it was literally against Samoa Joe for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. And of course, literally Joe taught Jay Lethal, just putting that out there. And there's a reason I say Samoa Joe more than once this platform tonight, folks. It feels like to me that Jay Lethal is finally getting back to where he truly had life, and that was ROH. So I want to see the franchise remind me once again why he is the franchise of ROH. Jay Lethal for the win. Like Machismo, show the action figure most recently. Yeah. All right, so that was pretty straightforward. Anyway, I hope people dig what I'm saying, man. But here, this is going to be a little bit different as we got a first time ever double bull rope, Exodus bull rope match. It's for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. The Sons of Texas, Dustin Rhodes, and Sumi Guevara. They defend the gold against the Righteous. Of course, talking about Vincent and Dutch. And this has gotten extremely personal. Ever since Dutch took the bull rope cowbell given to Dustin Rhodes by his father, Dusty. Praise the Lord for God rest his soul, the American dream, baby. And of course, has made it absolutely personal. I had no idea that Dutch was originally trained by Dustin Rhodes' father. And that's some crazy nonsense. And he feels like, in a way, that he is more deserving of that cowbell, that bull rope, that was bestowed upon Dustin as held it hostage. It got extremely personal last night, though, when he went to Rhodes Wrestling Academy, attacked Dustin there, left him in his pool of his own blood, and smeared that cowbell with the Natural's blood on it while calling Sammy Guevara on a FaceTime call, saying that this is their destiny. They should be ROH Tag Team Champions. You know what I'm saying, man? But it's one of those things where Texas Bull Rope match, Bunkhouse Brawl, you know the roads like good old JM as much as I do. I've learned even more from both of you. Thank you. I don't bet against the roads in anything that involves a freaking Texas Bull Rope. This is the first ever double Texas Bull Rope match in ROH history. I honestly can't remember the last time there was a double Texas Bull Rope match, honestly, in wrestling. If someone can find out for me, I would love to hear it. So, JJ, I start with you. I mean, the Righteous have been a mainstay tag team name in ROH for the longest time. And the last time we saw them challenge for the titles, it was against MJF literally last year at Wrestle Dream in a handicap. And they failed. But here, though, this is the ROH Tag Team Championships. And how long does one last ride last when it comes to Dustin Rhodes, who continues to prove that he probably went into the fountain of youth? What's your thoughts towards this, considering Dustin is also still a Ring of Honor six-man tag team champion? He's a double champion. Do you think he ends the year still double champion? Does the Righteous finally claim their destiny?
Righteous claims their destiny. If rumors are to be believed that you read on the internet, Dustin's contract is expired. He's basically there right now on a handshake deal per appearance, so I see him losing the titles here sooner rather than later. I think the Sons of Texas drop the tag titles here to the Righteous. Maybe we end up getting a Sammy Guevara-Dustin Rhodes match out of it. And then I see the Von Erichs and Dustin losing the Trios titles, which hopefully will be, I don't know, by mid-January, so that come February 1st, he'll be free for surprises, and we can get him in the Rumble and a Hall of Fame induction.
Yeah.
I just think it's time. I love Dustin. arguably the most underrated player in the Attitude Era.
Fact. Almost one of my all-time favorites that I was honored to meet in AEW. Continue.
Sammy, every time that I feel like I can get past stuff with Sammy, he does something to make me hate him again. So I'm hoping that this time served in Ring of Honor Penitentiary, because let's be real, that's what that was for him, was a punishment. Otherwise, he'd have been on Dynamite. He'd be in the Continental Classic. You know, he'd be on legitimate television. Sammy's been being punished. He's been being punished with a championship, but he's also got Dustin Rhodes he's got to answer to. He's going to beat the snot out of him if he gets out of line, because Dustin's old school.
Right.
Losing the titles allows Sammy to get bumped back up to the main roster, possibly as early as Fight for the Fallen, where you could book that Dustin Sammy match. Just saying.
I mean, you know, that's absolutely fair. Speaking of old school, it's one of those things where, again, I love the old school. And again, Dustin Rhodes is one of my all-time favorite wrestlers, up there with Shawn Michaels in my top 5 of my absolute fandom and respect in this business. I even told him that when I met him. But it's one of those things also where I almost feel like if Sammy did come back at the time it almost looked like he was going to be part of Chris Jericho's latest gimmick, which is, of course, the learning tree. And I don't think he wanted that. And also, Sammy Guevara is from Texas. They call themselves the son of Texas because of that. And since Sammy came back, the only dumb thing he's done is almost injured himself again. But he and Dustin have really been a strong, respectable front. And it feels like there is genuine respect there between Sammy and Dustin. Even Dustin talked about how Sammy started his whole career ahead of him. Dustin is still in disbelief sometimes that he is still going at his age, where he's done everything, and now he's a double champion for one of the most, prestigious names in wrestling, Ring of Honor, despite the small platform that it is still on since pretty much leaving Sinclair Television Studios back before 2020 when it's on a channel 2 o'clock in the daggone morning, but I digress. But it's just one of those things right now where I look at Dustin Rhodes and like, does he still need to be Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion? Where I look at the work that Dutch and Vincent have put in as the Righteous, and do they deserve to be our Tag Team Champions? That's that judgment call that I think the Righteous should get a chance at this. I went with the Righteous also. So I'm very curious.
And let's be real. When the Righteous fought MJF at Wrestle Dream, whatever it was, 2023, MJF was on top of the fucking world.
Yeah, there was no way he was losing.
No disrespect intended to Sammy and Dustin, but they're not on MJF's level.
No.
Even the Wonder Twins powers combined, they're not on MJF's level.
Damn, that's a hard reference.
And then you figure the fact that the Righteous are already in their head.
Big time. And of course, for those that don't know, Texas Bull Rope match literally is where you use a Texas Bull Rope as a weapon. I believe the way to win this still is pinfall submission, and there is no count, there is no disqualification. All hell's going to break loose with the Righteous as they look to pave a righteous path in the Ring of Honor Tag Team Division. Think what I'm saying there? So yeah, we're both going with the challengers here. Sorry, King. That being said, a majority are actually going with the Righteous as well. It's 60 to 40% in favor of the challengers. And for the last match, sorry about that, probably everybody picked Jay Lethal. Somebody did pick QT Marshall. I think they just wasn't sure at this point if QT was actually doing more Ring of Honor than Jay Lethal.
Or maybe they checked the wrong box.
I allow them to edit, and I also make sure they get emailed a copy. There's no excuse. All right. Okay, but this is going to be interesting. Again, first ever double Texas Bull Rope, and I'm very curious to see how that works out. Like, who's going to be crisscrossed with who? I imagine Dustin is going to be crossed from Dutch because those two literally got roots back to Dusty Rhodes, and I think it comes down to those two in the end, one way or another. But I'm looking forward to this. All right. Definitely. So, putting suspension of disbelief, and I know
really quickly before we move on, I saw Wesley's comment pop up, and I went to research it. It is accurate. Rey Mysterio's uncle, the original Rey Mysterio, has passed away, 66 years old.
Yep, I think my friends in HCW showed me that as well. The good ones, they go when their time comes. I tell you what, but Rey Mysterio's still going. God bless him. Despite how many times he had surgery on his knees, how many times we counted?
352 times
Okay,
on the
so not,
same knee.
not not quite the full year. All right. Well, fair enough. Well, let's go ahead and turn things into a pure direction. Let's let your mind wander a little bit when it comes to, let's be honest here. Ring of Honor is the show of wrestling, and wrestlers show up. So who the hell is going to challenge Tiger Style? Because guess what? We got a Ring of Honor Pure Championship Open Challenge. Might I add, the same title held by the likes of Bryan Danielson, Nigel McGuinness, two of the all-time greats that had their last match here in this venue in the HammerStein Ballroom. Just saying. Now, it would really shock me if it was Nigel McGuinness, but I'm not holding my breath. That being said, Lee Moriarty, of course, won this title off with Yuta at the Before Its Honor and is going to his fourth defense, with the seventh defenses against the likes of Angelico, very unique clash of styles, by the way, and most recently, Matt Taven, where Matt Taven thought he could complete the Grand Slam, but failed. Lee Moriarty also got the win last night in that 8-man tag. I'm just going to put it out there right now. I want to see Minoru Suzuki show up and tie up Lee Moriarty in a pretzel, because Minoru Suzuki, to me, is the definition of pure, violent, technical greatness. And if you want somebody that just lost the MLW Tag Team Championship to show you what Tiger Style is against the former Pink and Can Craze, Minoru Suzuki is the guy that will test you in a way that you wish you didn't know what a knot feels like. But that being said, JJ, let's get your mind thinking. Think about Ring of Honor alumni, thinking about the ever-changing wrestling landscape, thinking about what the pure title means and what it represents. Who could you see, or who would you want to see maybe challenge or show up in the HammerStein Ballroom, New York City, by the way, to challenge Lee Moriarty for this title? And do you have a new champion?
I do have a new champion.
Cool.
When I saw this open challenge and I thought about what the pure championship was, there was only one name that came to my mind.
And who was that?
At one point, he was a gold standard. There ain't no stopping him.
Oh,
I want Shelton Benjamin.
oh, damn. That's a hell of a pick. Whoa.
Former Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion with Charlie Haas.
Charlie Haas, I mean, again, world's greatest tag team that, of course, ascended upon WWE, trained by Kurt Angle. And, I mean, they hurt people. They want gold. Oh, I need to see STP versus the Hurt Syndicate. Damn you.
I just think it would be a great shout, because I don't think anybody would think about it. When they think about Shelton Benjamin, you think WWE.
Yes.
Period. A lot of people forget that he had a blip in Ring of Honor. And I think other than those tag titles, he's never held gold in Ring of Honor.
You'll be correct.
So the Hurt Syndicate, the Hurt Business, is back in full force.
They hurt people.
They hurt people. He was the gold standard. Like you said, they want championships. What better place to start than with the pure title?
Man, I did not think about that name, considering Continental Classic. Why not work double time? And again, he is formerly of Honor, so it would actually fit the mold. It would also be a first-ever matchup. And yes, I also know, of course, he was part of Suzuki-gun, as I talked about the King, Minoru Suzuki, leader of Suzuki-gun. He did have a patch in Japan, and thank you for that, Charles, because people probably know less about that, honestly, than the freaking blip in ROH.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said people think of WWE. They don't think about that stuff. I would have guessed he probably did something in Japan for a cup of coffee, but I didn't know for sure.
Oh, yeah. He was a tag team specialist there as well, part of Suzuki-gun. There you go. You could actually go watch some of his old matches back on Wrestle Kingdom, because I'm crazy. My December, as you know, JJ, literally encompasses going back through Joshi Pro and Pro Wrestling, getting ready for the biggest shows of the new year, including Wrestle Kingdom. I just got done going through my Wrestle Kingdoms marathon, And I got done with Noah to a degree, still got more of that. And then now I'm catching up on Start. I'm finally up to October. So it's always one of those things where, again, we talk about Shelton Benjamin. He is underappreciated and underbooked for the talent and his capabilities. And given them going back further, Ohio Valley Wrestling, alumni, all-around collegiate athlete. I know he had his big moments in Minnesota, same as Brock Lesnar, but it's one of those things right now where Shelton Benjamin has a new resurgence on his career, being part of the Hurt Syndicate. And I love seeing that. And of course, he is still heavily involved in the Continental Classic. And you talk about championships. Let's not forget, JJ, when we cover Christmas tomorrow, he's taking on the TNT champion, Daniel Garcia. And you imagine a win in that bout would lock him as a shot for that title. And his final bout will be a first ever match against the current Continental champion, Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada, on Christmas.
And you would think a victory there would get him a shot at the Continental Championship. You could have Shelton Benjamin with 3 titles. You could turn him into fucking Lance Storm from WCW 2000.
Or Kenny Omega, a whole different form of a belt collector. And we know the cleaner is going to return soon. But Shelton Benjamin draped in gold, the standard of excellence that MVP holds him up to. I mean, damn, that's a fair shout. But honestly, at this point, it's one of those titles like the Ring of Honor TV Championship. When you get somebody you're not aware of, it tends to change. And Final Battle is the stages of change. So I think in a way, because we also saw Minoru Suzuki beat Red Titus, for example, and even though he beat him, he had it for a cup of coffee, it would still win. I think there will be a new champion. Lee Moriarty might be eating crow with what he says, step up, protect your neck, prove to me that you are better than me, that I deem myself as the most pure technical wrestler. And folks, we'll talk more about pure rules tonight during the watch along. Don't worry about that. Just know that rope breaks are enforced limitedly. Then the ropes can be used legally. You can't use closed fists, and this title can actually change hands via counter disqualification. Just to sum up a little bubble. But after what you just said, I think there could be definitely a new champion tonight in Final Battle. So I am going to say yes. And also, folks, again, you make your predictions final. Believe it or not, what you just said, JJ, I just saw the graph refreshed. You must have changed people's picks. It's 50-50 on yes or no. But this is going to be fun. It's always been a standard. It's been the standout. It is the pure foundation of wrestling in this era, still held up to a degree. So I'm looking very forward to this. It's almost like ASMR, if ASMR was wrestling. Just saying. Anyway, good stuff. Okay, JJ, struck a pose. Don't do that. I'm just messing with you. Let's go ahead and talk about this real quick. Interpromotional match with the former Ring of Honor World Television Championship, Atlantis Jr. versus MXN Collections, Mansoor. And, of course, Mason Marlin will be in the corner. And I do wonder if Johnny TV will be there. Straight up with you, bro, this match has no history whatsoever. It was literally just made last night. It is literally a filler. And Atlantis Jr. is the former Ring of Honor World Television Champion. I kind of feel like Atlantis Jr. is going to win this just out of principle.
And I've got Mansoor.
Really?
Really? I mean, I've seen Atlantis Jr. a few times, so I won't sit here and say that I know nothing about him, but I feel like Mason Mansoor, MXM Collection, or whatever they're going by these days.
You got it.
are I wasn't sure if it was collection or collective, but I just feel like they've had a new lease on life since this transition. It's very much the same thing that I'm always kind of pumping AJ Francis for with TNA.
Right.
Ever since the change was made, it's been a completely different game for them. I'm not saying I take them as seriously as I take AJ Francis, because AJ is a damn good heel. He still may have some of the stigma of Flop Dollar, but he's morphed into a damn good heel.
I'll give you that.
I don't support his claim of being the best heel in the business right now, but he's exponentially gotten better.
I'll give you that.
I've seen the same thing with MXM. They've gotten exponentially better. They're no longer just a backstage. They're no longer just a backstage gimmick.
No.
They're legitimate competitors. They're somebody to be taken seriously and not to be taken as lightly. despite the gimmick.
Fashion choices aside, I mean, that's unique. And at one point, Maria Kanellis, who of course was coming from surgery, get well soon, she had eyes on MXN collection to maybe establish a new kingdom with. And I also know that Giant TV has been alongside MSN Collection as well, adding even more leash on life with them when it comes to preserving Johnny TV's abs. Don't get into carbs. You lost the match, but you are still as handsome as ever. That has literally been some of their backstage vignettes when it comes to losing matches on Collision. I kid you not. And of course, Johnny TV and Atlantis Jr., they were involved in survival of the fittest when Atlantis Jr. was Ring of Honor with Television Champion back at Death His Honor. And we also know that Mason Madden will probably be in Mansoor's corner. So I do think that Mansoor is a fair shout, but Atlantis Jr. has shown me that he can literally trap you out of nowhere in a 3 count. So, whoop, there goes the darkness. I'm going to go still with Atlantis Jr. as he re-roll. So you see the re-roll, folks, the little circle. That being said, it is 50-50 dead heat right now for Mansoor and Atlantis Jr. And let's go ahead and try to bring the Renegade back. Boop. That was weird. All good, bro? All good?
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
That was weird. You don't have like a snow or a wind warning out there, do you? No? Yes? Maybe? Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Do you hear what I hear?
No, nothing that I know of.
Okay. Well, there's some.
I hear you.
Okay. There's some latency. So
you hear me?
I can, but there is some latency. So what we're going to do, folks, as we deal with these technical difficulties, I'm going to private message him, and I want to encourage you to check out this trailer and what's to come ahead here at the Survival Studios, and we'll continue our thoughts on the rest of this card. Again, please stand by as we keep you in tune with all the latest happenings. And JJ, I think there was some latency on your side. I'm going to play the trailer in case you didn't hear me real quick for your Christmas stuff, and then we'll continue when we get back. So stay tuned, folks. After this brief commercial break, way shorter than anything on Peacock, we'll be back with more to be predicting after this.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Oh. And once again, that was even shorter than before. What the heck is happening? Well, with that being said, apologies, folks, as we get everything in order here. Technical difficulties. I'm not sure what's happening. As JJ figures out why he is stuck in the loop, allow me to encourage you to stay tuned for future city predictings here. We'll be back with World's End, and I'll be city predicting Wrestle Kingdom 19, Wrestle Dynasty, and TNA Genesis. We're live, folks. And again, that is all encompassed with all of you. Those will each have their own city predicting game as well, too. So stay tuned for more on that. And again, we have so much coming up for you this weekend. We have watch alongs tonight for the AEW Rampage Holiday Bash. Hello.
Hello?
Perfect. What the world?
I don't know.
That was weird. Anyway, technical difficulties. But hey, that was a great way to plug stuff. Follow JJ. Stay tuned for Saturday Shenanigans. Stay tuned for Christmas Collision. Stay tuned for Holiday Bash. Stay tuned to bring up our final battle. And we are back. And I don't know why your trailer cut off. Maybe it's the fact that it's in a different brand. I guess brands don't carry over the same trailers when you change it. Well, we'll figure this all out later. But good to know you're back. But anyway, we're split. Atlantis Jr., Mansoor. And it's 50-50 according to the people. All right. Good stuff. I don't know what to say regarding that. I don't know if that was as legit as a pose you can get from the regular wrestling JJ.
I just wanted to catch you off guard.
Yeah, you sure did. Dadgum. Okay. Well, besides the difficulties and the fact that you could try and strut, let's go ahead and get legit, Sally, with some women's action. Jesus Christ. Let's go ahead and talk about the Ring of Honor Women's World Television Championship as Red Velvet's going to stir it up with legit Layla Hirsch. Layla Hirsch, of course, coming off that incredible Texas death match, dislocating her elbow in the process against Diamante. Coming back from injury, has had a strong going ever since and renewed motivation and confidence, saying that she could beat Red Velvet for this championship. In the Fatal 4-Way for the International Women's Cup qualifier 2 weeks ago on Ring of Honor, Red Velvet was nearly pinned by legit Layla Hirsch, but Billy Starks and Athena saved the matchup and prevented Layla from winning and pinning this champion. But since then, Layla's been out to prove a point. She already caught up the champion for an open challenge after Red Velvet overcame Diamante in a street fight. And now we have these two going one-on-one for the Ring of Honor Women's World Television Championship. Of course, this is Red Velvet's first title. Legit Layla Hirsch is still looking for her first title. It's one of those things where I look at these two women, I look at the drive, I look at this match, and this could be a sleeper, and it could be, again, one of those hidden upsets. But Red Velvet's been a great fighting champion so far since beating Billy Starks at them for this honor, and seeing what Lady Frost and Queen Aminata did last night, with Queen Aminata getting the winner with Lady Frost, and of course Queen Aminata and Red Velvet are tag friends, tag competitors, of course. I wouldn't mind seeing Queen Aminata versus Red Velvet 1-on-1 for this title, just saying. Who could really kick the other's head off their shoulders? But I think Layla's going to give Red Velvet a run for money, but I have the champion retaining. What about you?
I also have the champion retaining. I feel like Red Velvet hasn't had it that long yet. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, I don't really follow Ring of Honor to know exactly when she won it, but I don't feel like she's had it maybe more than a couple of months.
She won it back at Death for Honor, which was in July.
Okay, July. So a little bit longer than I thought. But yeah, I think Red Velvet is doing good enough. I don't see her dropping it just yet. What's up, King?
My brother. I'll see you next week, Thursday, after Christmas, bro, for our World's End preview and year-end adieu for We Are ATW. And Wesley agrees as well. It's just one of those things right now where I look at the fact we got two women's titles here, and I think one truly needs to be the major upset and change in this division. I look at Red Velvet right now, and she's been a strong inaugural champion, kind of like how Trelawney Jordan established a foundation for the NXT Women's North American Championship, and now Fallon Henry's building that off of what she did. And I think Red Velvet still has more steam behind her. Plus, Red Velvet had a chance almost to go to Wrestle Dynasty, and for those that don't know, Athena's go on January 5th to Wrestle Dynasty. And I think Red Velvet right now is a strong foundation to build the women up towards this title. And legit Layla Hirsch, she proves she's worthy challenger, but let's see how far she can hang with Red Velvet when a title's on the line. And this could build into something else. So, yeah, I think Red Velvet is also retaining. But, again, this match should be very fun. I expect suplexes and a lot of kicks to the head. Just saying. All right. Well, let's go ahead and switch gears as we're getting near the end here. And let's go ahead and talk about this sleeper exhibition because, oh, good Lord. The wrestler Katsuyori Shibata goes one-on-one for the first time ever against Dynamite Kid Tommy Billington. You want to talk about a clash of styles that really test the definitions of pure and technical wrestling. Good grief almighty. And of course, JJ, straight up, there is no story here. It is the first time ever one-on-one matchup made last night. As we know, the wrestler has newfound leash on life in wrestling, and Dynamite Kid Tommy Billington has been impressing us in and out of ROH and AEW. The bottom line, though, Katsuyori Shibata, former multiple-time recognized never overweight champion, former Ring of Honor Pure champion, and of course, this is Tommy Billington's, I believe, ROH debut, if not his first match on Ring of Honor pay-per-view. It's a big opportunity, but Tommy Billington's also still very young in his career, while Katsuyori Shibata is very established, and as somebody who once taught students, including the War Dogs, in New Japan for the rest of the day, still a leader of LA Dojo, it's hard for me to ever bet against the wrestler Katsuyori Shibata. So I got to go with Shibata here. But what do you think about this match?
I'm going with Tommy Billington.
Wow.
I may be the long shot. I may be the dark horse here. I like Shibata. The man is the only man that I know that can make speak and spell a gimmick. And get over with it. Like him and his talking telephone translator and Okada and the word bitch are the two best Japanese gimmicks to come over here in a minute.
Accurate.
But to your point that you made, Tommy Billington is, for lack of a better term, an upstart.
Yes.
Shibata is the establishment.
Yes.
What does it do to Tommy Billington's career to get a victory over somebody like Shibata?
Puts him on the map.
And there is why I'm going with Tommy Billington.
Ring of Honor is all about testing yourself to be the stronger, better wrestler. To beat the wrestler, though, that's a hell of a moniker to have next to your name, especially for those that recognize professional wrestling, like
and
me.
You just got to think about who his daddy is. Like,
yeah, Dynamite Kid.
OG Dynamite Kid. Like, dude, there's a reason why he inspired the Chris Benoits, who in turn inspired the Bryan Danielsons. Like, Tommy Billington, if he is in fact, we'll even say a quarter as good as his daddy, considering how young he is in his career. If he is a quarter as good as his daddy was, bro, by the time that he fully evolves, full Pokemon evolution here, dude's going to be a fucking beast.
Oh, no denying that. Of course, already endorsed by FTR. We've seen this guy go one-on-one with Chris Jericho, Dax Harwood, and has literally left us in shock and awe on a Collision, to your point. This guy's been impressing us ever since we've seen him.
I'm already wanting Harry Smith and him to be a tag team.
Right? Literally, Harry Boy Smith Jr., come on, make it. It writes itself.
And Ring of Honor would be the perfect place to do it.
Exactly. Oh,
but you got to put those roots down.
Right.
Let Baby Dynamite plant those roots.
Yeah. And
build up some story. And then if something evolves to where he needs a partner, Colin Harry.
Let's just look at Katsuyori Shibata real quick with it, shall we? Again, the guy still leads and tests everybody he's in the ring with. I mean, at one point, he literally told Young Boy in New Japan Pro Wrestling, come with me. Or was it Brandon Rita? I actually told multiple people that. But Shibata to help teach or guide after this test for Tommy Billington would be huge. I mean, hell, look at what Shibata's doing alongside Hook right now. And both these men are technical marvels at their age. While Shibata's got New Leaf on Life, Hook right now still in the prime of his career with that friggin' T-bone suplex and Taj Dojo disciplines and amateur athletic background in lacrosse and more. It's also one of those things where I look at Tommy Billington and I could see Tommy Billington and Katsuyori Shibata maybe becoming a tandem in its own way. So it's one of those things where this is going to be a real exhibition match for Tommy to really show something to a guy that is not easy to impress, let alone not that easy to beat. So this is a sleeper match for me on this card for many, many reasons. And of course, to your point, Davey Boy Smith Jr. going back to Suzuki-gun, Lance Archer and Davey Boy Smith Jr., of course, were once known as Killer Elite Squad. They are former IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. So, again, with Shibata, technically has still roots in NWW. I don't know if he still has a desire to go back there, though. It could be one of those things that could lead to something maybe for Tommy Billington on the Strong brand for maybe the Strong open way to the Strong Tag Team Championship. So, again, opportunity is there. So, I'm rooting for him, the kid, pun intended. But I don't bet against the wrestler. And the majority of people are going with Katsuyori Shibata as well, 87%. All right.
I mean, this could have match of the night written on it. Like, there's some other great matches on this card, but the fact that you called it yourself multiple times a sleeper could be what turns it into that match of the night contender.
Because the wrestler will push you to prove to him that you can wrestle. Period. There's a reason why he's the only athlete in the business called the wrestler, JJ. I'm just saying.
Randy the Ram was the wrestler too.
Yeah. Asterisks. All right.
And he competed in Ring of Honor.
And fair enough. But I don't see him going up against Shibata right now. All right. Let's go ahead and move on. We got 3 matches left, all championships. Let's go ahead and talk about this because who better than your boy? It's the Machine Brian Cage in Survival of the Fittest. And boy, we were talking about that earlier. Well, here it is. It's survival of the fittest for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. We, of course, have the Machine, Brian Cage, now representing the Don Callis family. He's defending the gold against Chocolate Thunder, Willie Mack, Mark Davis of the United Empire, former Aussie Open, Commander, of course, still participating in the Continental Classic, AR Fox, who recently took Brian Cage to the limit in a title chance, but failed. And, of course, All Heart, Blake Christian, a who's who field in the six-way elimination six-pack dance, where, of course, the last man, not pinned or eliminated, leaves with the championship. What's ironic here, JJ, we called it before this honor, and you remember who was left in the end? Champion and challenger. Champion at the time of last junior, challenger Brian Cage. And he got caught 3 seconds, and that was it. Of course, we saw at Wrestle Dream, though, during the 0 hour, Brian Cage finally won his first title here, the Ring of Honor Television Champion, and has so far have 2 defenses underneath his run. You've always called him, one of your faves, California guy, of course, calls himself who better. Well, you're definitely better than most of the people on this field if you can survive. It's survival of the fittest. So straight up, JJ, I'm only doing one chance this time. I'm breaking the rules because it's final battle, and I feel it's more fitting. Who you got leaving the Ring of Honor Television Champion? Does the Machine prevail across the field, or do you see somebody surprising you, considering there's also more than one person here you have ties with, too? Just saying.
Well, you've seen my answers, so you know who I picked here. I immediately got rid of Commander. I immediately got rid of Blake Christian. I immediately got rid of AR Fox. I just threw those 3 out the door right out the gate.
I'm not surprised.
I mean, AR Fox in his render looks like those wannabe rappers that try to sling their CDs to you as you're walking down Hollywood Boulevard. Seriously, I don't know what the hell is going on with this render of AR Fox, but it's almost as bad as the render of Pac, where it's like they told him, dude, open your eyes. We can barely see you. So his eyes are like super wide, huge smile. It's like, dude, we need better renders of some of these guys.
Right.
So those 3 got thrown out right out the gate. So then it comes down to Brian Cage. Like you said, this is only going to be his 3rd defense. Kind of still new in his run here as far as defending the title. I could see him keeping it because he hasn't had it that long. But I feel like Brian Cage, with anything that's not a world championship, is a complete step down for him. He's better than that.
Who better?
I could see Mark Davis taking this because he's got the program going with Fletcher.
And Fletcher is a former Ring of Honor World Television Champion.
And I feel like they could battle it out and feud over this, since Mark Davis feels like Fletcher turned his back on him and Ospreay. But at the end of the day, I had to go with the dude who I've known since he was sitting next to me in the stands as a fan. The dude that I know that would walk from his home to Anaheim to wrestle. I got to go with Willie here.
Wow.
Willie is my boy, even more so than Cage. I mean, Cage ain't never go to Disneyland with us. And Willie went on multiple occasions. You've seen the pictures.
I have.
Willie was my boy. I got to go Willie Mack here. And again, I may be the long shot. I may be the dark horse. I may be the only one that picks the chocolate juggalo, now chocolate thunder. I go with Willie Mack.
I like that. And we've seen Willie Mack and Brian Cage, of course, have huge respect for one another. They're 2 men that have bowed each other up and down the roads of this business. Hell, one of Willie Mack's first matches in the AEW ROH ecosystem was against Brian Cage. And then they had a follow-up on freaking Rampage. We talk about Rampage, great single sleeper hits. And that was definitely one of them, meat on meat. But it is also definitely one of those things where again, Willie Mack, Brian Cage, that's a singles match where I can see the title changing hands. But like you said, Brian Cage just recently he got it back in October. Plus, as a member of the Don Callis family, with the Don Callis fans looking stronger than ever, Brian Cage is champion, because the Cage got a champion. You got monster machines now with Lance Archer and Brian Cage. You wonder if Lance Archer might even come involved in this match. Everything right now for the later half of this year has favored the Don Callis family. So just off that momentum as well, I think I got to go with Brian Cage retaining. And you're not alone, actually, in Willie Mack, because Willie Mack was actually the second most picked. 12% picked Willie Mack, while the majority did go with Brian Cage. But Brian Cage only had 70%. The rest is all split amongst Commander, Mark Davis, and AR Fox. Not a single pick for Blake Christian. I feel that just has to do with the fact that he left GCW bad taste in people's mouths or something like that. But it's his attitude. But I don't know. But yeah, this should be a really fun match. If I was Fittest, you never know again how crazy this can get. We saw how far it went with Kyle Fletcher and Commander when they were the final two for the vacated championship at, ironically enough, last year's Ring of Honor final battle. And we saw what it took for Kyle Fletcher to beat Commander, a freaking brain buster off the top turnbuckle and a follow-up pile driver to put the damn man down. So, again, we'll see what it takes here, but especially if it comes down to Willie Mack and Brian Cage. And I know you're going to lose your mind. I know I am too. So this is going to be fun to see. But good luck to everybody. But in my opinion, who better than the Machine and the former Impact World Champion for that point? All right. Well, that being said, we only got 2 matches left. And why they're calling it double main, I put asterisks next to one. But that being said, they're still the world title, so I will treat them justifiably so. That being said, JJ, everybody. Hi, guys. Let's go ahead and talk about the Ring of Honor World Championship with the self-proclaimed King of New York, Chris Jericho. He is the learning tree, defending the gold against the King of the Indies, the Deathmatch King, representing, of course, Long Island IC, not Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona. And of course, Matt Cardona is no stranger to the HammerStein Ballroom, because the last time we saw him here was One Night Stand GCW, where he caused nothing but absolute chaos. And again, Matt Cardona has literally made a name for himself. You want to talk about Chris Jericho being a character man of reinvention. Matt Cardona says Zack Ryder's den has literally turned himself into the king of the independents. Chris Jericho even called him that. So much to the point that Chris Jericho chased him halfway around the world, invaded a GCW show, as you showed on Shenanigans, JJ, and attacked the man literally on his own damn turf as he looks to defend his crown, calling himself the self-proclaimed King of New York. Now, I know people are going to think this 2 ways, because we talked about negotiations, we talked about heart of our mind, we talked about business, we talked about personal incense. We also are in the HammerStein Ballroom, where honestly this match might be, if blank don't win, we riot. But it's one of those things right now where I look at Matt Cardona, where his wife, Chelsea Green, won a title 7 years to the day and made history in WWE. If he comes out with a WWE Women's United States Championship, even a toy prop, dude, I'm going to lose my shit. I'm just saying, that would be fucking hilarious. I would just think it would be so beautifully poetic for Matt Cardona to win the Ring of Honor World Championship, flip everybody off at the HammerStein Ballroom while wearing an AEW shirt with the logo crossed out, and then go celebrate Disney World style with his wife, with both of them with title in hand. But that being said, I'm done speaking now, because I'm not going to say my picks. I'm just putting it out there as what is, in what could be maybe what you would call a Christmas miracle. JJ, what do you guys say regarding the Ring of Honor World Championship? I know this was definitely one of the top 3 matches. You had a lot to say on your mind, so please, the floor is yours.
See, a lot of people are out there thinking that Jericho needs to win this match because of negotiations, because he is the recognizable name.
Exactly.
Matt Cardona is also a recognizable name. Maybe not as recognizable as Jericho, but recognizable enough that you can bank on and build a brand on. I think a lot of this match has to do with if they've signed a deal or not. If they've signed the deal, then I could see Jericho retaining. Because you're going to want to have that presence on your inaugural broadcasts. And then maybe do the drop at the first pay-per-view after. If they haven't signed the deal, I can see Cardona taking it. Because at this point, Jericho doesn't need to be a multi-time Ring of Honor champion.
No.
Especially in the learning tree gimmick. As much as I still find the learning tree gimmick hilarious. For all the wrong reasons, but still hilarious nonetheless.
Right.
Jericho doesn't need to be world champion.
I just want to point this out real quick, JJ. I don't know if you even looked at the graphics. In the top left-hand corner, every graphic is approved by the learning tree.
I noticed that. Because in the comic books, there's always an approved by the Comic Book Code Association or whatever.
Yeah.
The images are cartoon style, comic book style.
Yeah.
They all have that since he's the champion. It makes perfect sense. And it's another part of why I didn't put the Simply Predicting logo, because I would have had to cover that. And that shit's fucking gold.
Fair enough. I just was like, damn it, Jericho. Continue.
But I don't know if Ring of Honor is ever going to get a television deal, like a legitimate deal.
Right.
So I say pull the trigger, put the belt on Cardona, have that moment. You know, Chelsea just won the United States Championship a week ago at Nassau in Long Island. Let Cardona a week later win the Ring of Honor Championship in the Manhattan Center, in the HammerStein Ballroom. Same type of Cinderella booking. And especially after Jericho invaded GCW to attack Cardona.
Right.
I feel like it has to be.
I love you, but I also can't stand you sometimes, because here's the thing. Chris Jericho, of course, won this title with the help of the learning tree. Of course, the Bad Apple, Brian Keefe, and Big Bill, the Redwood, who I don't think Big Bill will be here right now because, again, he and Lexi Nair, they got married. Congratulations. Enjoy your honeymoon. As far away from New York as possible, if applicable. We also saw Matt Cardona recently beat the daylights out of Bad Apple, Brian Keefe. And, of course, not the first time we've seen Matt Cardona in a Tony Khan production. Remember, he answered Adam Copeland's open challenge for the TNT Championship. What was a dream match for him? Christmas is all about wishing. It's all about hoping to get what you want to receive. It's one of those things also where it is the season of giving. And for Chris Jericho, how many people want him to be retired? We are going to be in a very heated audience. And I almost wonder if this audience is going to be literally indie fed so heavy that Matt Cardona is going to be welcomed in like a god. Because, of course, Matt Cardona, to your point, former GCW champion, former NWA World Heavyweight champion, former WWE United States and Intercontinental champion, former insert champion here. It's just one of those things right now where I look at Matt Cardona, despite how much Aaron Riff hates him and always will for life because of WrestleMania 32. And again, that was Zach Ryder, Matt Cardona. So maybe he finally can move on from that. Who knows? I feel that Matt Cardona is long overdue to show himself to lead a brand as a world champion. And I really do want him to win, but it's just one of those things right now, ever since the names Tony Khan and Chris Jericho put in the same sentence. It's like peanut butter and jelly. You can't have one without the other, especially when it comes to negotiations or leading on that guy. But again, does Chris Jericho give back to the business by having Matt Cardona win? I'm so close to changing my pick on Matt Cardona. You almost convinced me, but there's one other reason I'm saying Chris Jericho, because I'm still keeping that ROH style. He is not ROH. In fact, Chris Jericho lost the Ring of Honor World Championship 2 years ago to Claudio Castagnoli at Final Battle. But of course, that was a rematch. We know he lost the title to Mark Briscoe. And of course, Mark Briscoe's competing in the Continental Classic. But let's go a little bit further back this year, shall we? Because there's a former Ring of Honor World Champion that the learning tree, Chris Jericho, put out indefinitely that is wrapping up a filming here very soon. That was a former face of Ring of Honor and very well could come back to kill him too. Because I am holding out particularly for Samoa Joe, to return home, I have to go with Chris Jericho here because that's a story that needs to be finished. So, no offense to Matt Cardona, especially with Chelsea Green getting our moment, but I think it's just one of those things where Matt Cardona is going to be welcomed like a hero, still tell the crowd, fuck you, and Chris Jericho is going to teach him a lesson, whether or not you believe in the learning tree. And I pray it means that afterwards, Samoa Joe shows up, muscle busters him, and we get that match made official for maybe the first time ROH is actually on something besides Honor Club. But I got to go with Chris Jericho retaining because I think Samoa Joe is going to be the guy to take it from him too. I got the learning tree. Damn it.
Let me ask you this, and I don't want to dive too much into negativity, but it's something that's going through my head regarding this.
What is it?
We all know how petty Tony Khan can be.
Mm-hmm.
Would he be petty enough to put the strap on Cardona to make it where he can't be a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble? Because Cardona doesn't really sign long-term contracts.
No.
But if you put the championship on him, he's pretty much locked into the company until he loses the title. You've got Raw on Netflix. You've got Saturday night's main event in Texas. You've got the Royal Rumble coming February 1st. Is Tony Khan so petty that he would put the strap on Cardona to keep him from participating in any of that stuff?
Well, I am not Tony Khan, and pettiness does drive people. Yeah, as I say the name. But it's just one of those things where I like to think that he's not that petty, but he's easily triggered by social media more than anything, and that is his greatest kryptonite. I would wholeheartedly right now say no and hope that I'm right, because there's a reason why people like Brody Lee Jr., Absolute Ricker Starks, and even Dustin Rhodes, he said, go to WrestleMania, celebrate with Cody. For him to do that with those talents that didn't have a title, and that might be the caveat to your point, he's having a title, it does show me that, again, AEW is not closed door minded. But to your point, holding the Ring of Honor World Championship, that's a whole different stigma. I would honestly be really surprised after that booing reception with the AEW shirt was shown by Chris Jericho. If Matt Cardona were to win the Ring of Honor Championship, he shows up in GCW with it. And I'm sure Tony Khan would definitely encourage that. Hell, he had Vince Warner wants to take on Jon Moxley on Rampage. To put a nice little bow on that question, though, to not go too far in the weeds, I'm going to hold down and say no. But I could see him winning and not coming out with the title, because to have a different company's world championship on the biggest company name associated with the word wrestling would be interesting. I still wonder if any company would be willing to do that with their the world championship. And TNA did show that with the knockouts. We have not seen it with TNA World title. And if Joe Hamilton wins against, I almost said Moose, against Nick Nemeth at Genesis, that if the TNA World Championship shows up in WWE, I will never question anything as far as the World title shown by another company ever again. But
well, and to that point, Nick Nemeth has even teased that coming out in the Rumble as champion is something he would consider. Whereas a year ago, the NXT-TNA partnership is something he didn't want to be involved in.
That's interesting. Now
he's talking about putting on the old trunks, having the old music hit, and him coming out as the TNA World Champion is something he would be open to.
Personally, I like Wanted Man more than his previous themes. No offense, but
hey, nothing will beat I Am Perfection, though.
The
I'm
original,
sorry, that one was too good.
the original, I'll give you. The remake, not so much. So
Yeah, I'm talking the original.
Okay, I am a okay. I'll give you that. I mean, Downstate's awesome, but I'll give you the original theme was a freaking banger. But as far as this question goes, I'm going to say no.
All right, because I mean, I think about how he pulled Ricky Starks from GCW events, but then let Jericho come out and attack Cardona.
That's yeah, I suppose
that's pretty petty.
I do wonder though, behind the scenes, was that also just a Tony Khan decision, or was that also on GCW's part? Because also GCW has worked initially, I think, or at least have been in talks at one point with WWE. I don't know if they still are. There's a lot of gray in the black and white that we don't know.
Agreed.
That nothing reported is ever going to explain. Unless you're literally there in the business offices, if GCW has a business office, I don't even know if they do. Your guess is as good as mine. So there you go. Well, that being said, a majority are going with the learning tree Chris Jericho in a 2-to-1 ratio. 68% for the champ retaining, but 31% are holding out for Matt Cardona taking it. And if he pulls a CM Punk Money in the Bank 2011 with it, then all hell is going to break loose. This might be even more of a riot situation than John Cena and RVD in 2006. Just saying. I expect a very hostile environment during this match more than any other match on this card. Just saying. Well, that being said, a lot of talk, a lot of fun, a lot of unique what ifs, a lot of shenanigans. I even had a poll. So let's go ahead and get into what truly feels like the main event. And rightfully so, damn it. 1 year ago, these two women owned Honor and the year for a Posse Women's Match of the Year. And we're going back in time after seeing it yesterday, moving forward to it once again being today, where we see if forever stops. And Daniel, there's a reason why I started your very first comment. Appreciate you, my friend. JJ, it's time. It is Athena versus Billy Starks 2 for the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. Before I give it to you, let me just go ahead and tell you again Athena's reign. She has held this title for 742 days with 24 official defenses and 29 proving ground bouts, basically showcasing, preserving this championship 53 times in ROH and also through Prestige and Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, including a defense against the quintessential diva, Michelle Shaw. She has been champion since 2022 when the title last changed hands at Final Battle against Mercedes Martinez. It was last year's Final Battle. These two main evented in nearly 30 minutes of war, where Billy Starks went through what was called, in her own mind, her final battle test. This is not a test. This is not an exam. This is not a graduation. This has to be it for these two in the ring one-on-one. This is the final battle. And that being said, JJ, I now put it on you to book, to pick, and to talk about who leads HammerStein Ballroom, the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. Do we finally stop forever?
Before I get into that, I have a question for you. Why aren't the same people that are sitting here saying, well, if negotiations are going on, then Chris Jericho is going to retain because he's the established name? Why aren't those same people saying the same shit when it comes to Athena?
I think it comes down to a couple of things that King said last night. Apparently, Athena has let it be known that she's going on a quote-unquote world tour, and I guess she's coming back to AEW soon, whether or not that's Tony Khan's decision or she's finally tired of holding this championship, or maybe this is literally seeing if Billy Starks is ready to step up and force the entire division to step up is as good as, I don't know. But also, to point out the World Tour fame, why Lexi Nair is not here, because she's on her honeymoon with Big Bill. Athena has already punched in to go to Wrestle Dynasty in the Fatal 4-Way International Women's Cup, where the winner of that match will also get a World Championship match in the company of their choosing, I think, or their own.
Which brings me to my next point. If you're going on a world tour, if you're wrestling at the Tokyo Dome, why wouldn't you want to go in there with the Ring of Honor World Championship on a grand stage, showcasing that title to the millions of people that are going to tune in to Wrestle Dynasty? She, in theory, could be the only person walking into that match currently champion, which by most odds makers' viewpoint would make her the easy favorite. I'm just throwing things out here. I'm spitballing because, for the record, I have Billy Starks as well. I agree it's her time, because we've booked Athena to the point where if she retains, she's going to enter Roman Reigns levels. Who the fuck beats her then? She's beaten everybody. But this is only match 2. Most good rivalries have a trilogy. And there's no reason why Athena can't retain here, close out the year, go to Wrestle Dynasty, Ring of Honor champion, have the belt prominently featured on this huge international show that's got Stardom, CMLL, AEW, and New Japan all on it. And then, if the TV deal happens, again, big if,
quote unquote,
drop the title to Billy on the first episode of the TV show or at the first pay-per-view of 2020-25, which is usually WrestleMania weekend.
Supercard of Honor.
But all that being said, just for shits and giggles sake, to throw it out there for the world to think about and ponder, I do have Billy Starks.
Yeah, and you know, you brought up the key thing I was thinking about as I listen to you all the time, because I love always engaging and chatting with you about this. There's a reason why we do this, folks, and there's a reason why sometimes people just want us on WWE calls. It is what it is. And yes, we will be the 2-person team for WrestleMania. That I promise. Raw on Netflix, you just had to make that official. That being said, here's the thing, though, JJ. You said that most great stories have trilogies. Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns finished their story across a year and 2 matches. We have a similar situation here with the women. And this is Ring of Honor's grandest stage. We have talked about Final Battle in the past. You've watched Ring of Honor to a degree, probably as long, if not more, than I have. We've seen wars that have repeated at Final Battle or culminate here in a new champion across all the titles. Whether you talk about whatever happened to that guy, El Generico and Kevin Steen in their ladder work, good grief. Whether you talk about, like I said, in this era, Claudio Castagnoli beat Chris Jericho. Whether you talk about Kelly Klein. In my opinion, Kelly Klein is still the former gatekeeper of the Women of Honor division during its last inception, who won in 2018 a triple threat against one of the very wrestlers that's retiring next year. That's a former Women of Honor champion, Sumi Sakai. I think about Jay Lethal, the franchise. He defended the title successfully here against Cody Rhodes. To your point, I've seen titles defend successfully too for the World Championship. Also on that standpoint, we've seen Don Castle beat Cody Rhodes here for the Ring of Honor World Championship. We've also seen the Briscoes, them boys, Ring of Honor Hall of Famers, win the freaking Ring of Honor tag championships in ladder wars against SCU and the Young Bucks. It's just one of those things where I think about...
Interesting team. One of those guys I think's a king of another wrestling company.
King's still not a king about his crown, but I do understand what you're saying because he might be coordinated sooner rather than later. So help me, a Genesis.
Hey, I don't see King A-Train wear a crown.
Damn,
But you still refer to him as King.
damn it. King, change your name. You're not Kenny King. Anyway, that's what I was trying to say. Fair
Just
point.
had to get you there, Noah.
Yeah, someone has to, right? It's just
You will
for me,
acknowledge the King of TNA, damn it.
never, not until he proves to me that he actually earns it. But it's just one of those things to me that the bottom line, final battle needs to have a final battle that means what it means in name, value, and building. Ever since Billy Starks gained Athena's respect last year, became pretty much like an adopted daughter to her, even used her own shenanigans to become the inaugural friggin' Ring of Honor Women's World Television Champion, only to eat crow and lose it to Red Velvet, trying to still be Athena, to the point Athena says, you lost what's mine, you disappointed me, and then basically tossed it aside for Lexi and gave Lexi all the credit for everything, despite the fact Billy helped her during Queen Amanada's match to retain that title. To the point Billy don't give a shit. She don't give a fuck. She just literally finally did things on her own, and that's what I've been waiting for. At nearly 21 years of age, if not already 21 years of age, Billy Starks has the biggest opportunity of her young career. Why she's wrestled 28 different states, held multiple championships, has high grades right now in college. Yes, she is in college, folks. It's just one of those things right now for me that Billy Starks deserves this moment. And we are in the spiritual home of Ring of Honor for this moment to happen. I can understand from a network standpoint how big it could be on a big TV premiere thing if that actually happens. But that's a what if. This could be definitive tonight, and I think it should be definitive. If nothing else, if I get every prediction wrong tonight, because Ring of Honor could fuck me like that, I need to see Billy Starks destroying that spinner toy type belt last night. I need to see Billy Starks holding up the real Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. I got to see Billy win. I don't think I'll riot, but I will be disappointed. Forever needs to change. Forever is not forever, especially in professional wrestling. It's got to be Billy Starks for me, or the show is a flop. I'm going with Billy Starks no matter what.
Even if this match is a 30-minute banger, it's still a flop if Billy loses.
Yeah, because again, that's what happened last year. She literally took everything and somehow got caught. If they go back to that spot, by the way, in that modified Koji Kimura cross arm breaker submission that trapped Billy to force the time in the first place, that's the turning point. If we see that here tonight and Billy doesn't tap out, I guarantee effing you that Billy walks out the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, because that was the only crutch that got her. And I'm just leave it at that. And the majority, by the way, are going with Billy Starks in a 2-to-1 ratio, 62% versus 37% for Athena. And again,
that's interesting, though, that it's that divided.
Right?
You know, as passionately as you speak about this being Billy's moment and she has to win or we riot, you'd think it would be more like 95-5, 90-10. Hell, I'd even settle for 80-20.
Yeah, but again, it's
With
hard
the
to
fact
argue like
that it's
said.
2/3 to a third, like, that tells me that there's still a lot of people out there that are thinking the way I'm thinking, because we mentioned about how it gets to be Roman Reigns proportions. It already sort of is at that point, because is Billy Starks' reign gonna be as dominant or able to even come close to equating what Athena has done with the title?
Mm-hmm.
Or is she going to lose it in 6 months? You know, Athena has done such a phenomenal job of proving WWE wrong, one, and making that championship the premier championship in women's stateside wrestling.
And ROH. She's the longest reigning champion in ROH history across all the belts.
Right, I know. Anybody that follows is going to have hard shoes to fill.
Exactly.
Is Billy going to be able to even come close to filling those shoes?
I guess that comes down to if Athena has prepared her enough for it, and if Billy Starks trusts herself to handle it. We talk about all the time, JJ, it's not the championship that makes the champion, it's the champion that makes the championship. And why she surpassed Jay Lethal for the most saves in our world Why she surpassed the longest reigns of the Ring of Honor and Women of Honor World Championships. Why she surpassed the longest holding current single running champion in Ring of Honor history, period. And it's being everybody from AEW, Ring of Honor, Joshi Pro, Canada, you insert name here. It's one of those things where you have to look at Athena and see the connection to Billy. There had to have been a reason why Athena picked Billy first in Ring of Honor to be that close to her this entire time, to grow, to fall, to fail, to succeed, to wonder and ponder. This has to be literally where Athena trusts Billy enough if Billy wins. And this also has to be where Billy's confident enough in herself and what Athena put into her to hold up to that moniker, to your point. Again, Cody Rhodes been nonstop, but Cody Rhodes right now is no longer apparently an active WWE champion because he's out on a stretcher. Kevin Owens now is that. I don't think we're going to have that situation here anytime soon to Ring of Honor, but it is one of those things where I look at the dominance of violent, aggressive, muscular nature of Athena. Can Billy Starks hold up to that same credibility without being that dastardly? Only time will tell, but you won't know unless she actually does it tonight. Because I think not just the win itself matters. I think it's where it happens that matters more. And to your point about the whole network talk, I still say Final Battle is bigger than anything TV-wise you can get on television.
Under normal circumstances, I would agree with you. But Ring of Honor has never had a TV deal that reaches the masses. They've had the old school pre-Spike TV ECW deal at
right.
best.
Yeah, like 2 a.m. in the morning on certain channels and certain times. I forget what channel that was.
Exactly. You know, for them to get a deal that puts them in serious contention with WWE, AEW. Yeah, I can't even really count TNA because Anthem isn't received by everybody. It's hard to get. But the two major companies, that would put them on an NXT level. And especially considering NXT canceled Level Up, you know, the last Level Up is going to air the end of the year.
Oh, interesting.
I think because NXT is going to start traveling again.
Well, they were in they were not in Florida on their last show. Mm-hmm. To your point, because again, I do watch.
I don't know for sure. I'm just speculating, but I think that they're going to start focusing the extra money that they were putting on television production to traveling and doing more live shows outside of the PC.
Good tactic. Good pursuit. Good chance to test them. But yeah, with a big what if in the air. And again, if the letters AEW ROH are spewed on my screen on a television channel, then you could say I told you so all you want. But until then, and I don't see this being like Bound for Glory last year where they'd be like, Ring of Honor has evolved into its final transformation. It's just right now for me, looking at the stage, looking at what happened last year, thinking about history, thinking about finishing a story, thinking about moment, opportunity, victory, thinking about that grand moment where I could see the confetti and the streamers throwing the ring down like the old days when you had the celebration. I want my closing shot to be Billy Starks holding the original Ring of Honor World Championship and Athena hugging her versus giving her the Code of Honor saying, you did it. It, for me, just feels like tonight needs to be that pass the torch moment. So I'm still going to go with Billy Starks, but I just don't know if I am going to still feel a good way for ROH's future if Billy Starks doesn't win tonight and what has been the most captivating thing for me to keep watching Ring of Honor.
I agree with you. Like I said, I agree with you. The thing that keeps coming back to my head is the rumor of AEW Shockwave. The show that's supposed to basically be replacing Rampage.
Right.
You know, again, rumor supposed to.
Listen,
what
folks.
if what if
Dot, dot, dot.
that show becomes the Ring of Honor television show, and it's no longer AEW Shockwave, it's Ring of Honor Shockwave.
Well, that would be a shock to the system of wrestling, to say the least, considering no one would ever expect something like that.
And to your point about the TNA analogy, what if that's the final thing we get on this broadcast? You know,
Well,
coming January 2025, Ring of Honor Shockwave, TBS, TNT, whatever, this night, this time.
I mean, there's a lot of electricity already in the air just with these graphics alone, where we might be looking further than we think to something that's a real possibility. I mean, I think there's
we know that the New Year's Smash Rampage, December 27th, is the final Rampage.
Yep.
January 3rd.
First Friday of the year.
Be the debut of Shockwave.
And right now, there's nothing on that day, as far as I'm aware of, regarding anything AEW. So again, it's a very real possibility, but it's still that to me right now, the more realistic possibility I think we're going to see is the crowning of Billy Starks as the new Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. I'm going to hold out for that tonight.
Here's hoping, sir.
Yeah, you and me both. Cheers to that, if so. And I'm going to lose my mind that I finally got a longer cable, can stand up again, too. Been a long so I could do that. Although last time I did that, I did get myself a headache. Damn you all, Ospreay and Darby Allin. Well, that being said, folks, that's all we got to say for now. That is your entire Ring Up on a Foul Battle card. Thank you for tuning in the conversation. What are your predictions? What do you hope to see? What do you believe Honor is? What are your greatest moments from the HammerStein Ballroom? Do you think somebody else shows up, returns? Do you see Forever not ending? We'd love to know your thoughts in the comments or the chat, of course. We continue here now and get ready to conclude things. But thank you all for tuning in. Again, make your predictions official, folks. You still have until 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And, of course, we will be going live 6:30 p.m. Standard Time with last-minute hype in case anything else changes. Good Lord Almighty. So stay tuned for more on that, courtesy other Super Battle Studios here across YouTubes and, of course, I guess now the Twix as we level up next year. What the hell are we doing, Walter? That being said, JJ, an absolute pleasure, an honorable, wonderful, very unique discussion as always with you. The two-man show, the two-man booth. And again, folks, you want this Raw on Netflix duo to call your show? You make it possible, he makes it official. It's as simple as that. That being said, JJ, we're mere hours away from Ring of Honor. And again, I hope you have an honorable evening, whether you watch the show, whether you have something else in mind. And plus, sounds like you all might be calling a simple hour of wrestling in the second to last Rampage with Rampage Holiday Bash, where the Continental Classic will continue. And for those that don't know, I do have the updated scoreboards right here. You see right now that Okada, he needs to win if he's going to hold on to that crown. And, of course, tonight, Brody King goes one-on-one with Commander. If Commander beats Brody King basically is eliminated. And so stay tuned for more on that. But, JJ, again, man, this weekend, it's just getting started. It's the gift that keeps on giving. That is the wrestling business in the Christmas season. So anything you want to play and promote, and, of course, where can people find you?
Well, you can find me on socials, Instagram, the Renegade JJ Williams, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Blue Sky, ROW JJ Williams. Of course, YouTube, Casa D18 Studios. Thank you to everybody that's watching this stream on my YouTube channel right now. You can always catch me doing Renegades reviews, which have been going up sporadically over the holiday season. A little bit of a soft reopening, getting things ready for the huge relaunch first of the year. Been reviewing some random Christmas movies from Netflix and Hallmark and Lifetime. Beginning at sundown on Christmas Day will become 8 nights of Hanukkah movie reviews. Trying to feel a little bit of love to all the holidays there. And like I said, January 1st, things kick into overdrive. Brand new shows premiering, plus Renegades reviews, plus For the Love of Wrestling when I can get those in, you know, because I want to make sure I show love to all the feds, plus our watch-alongs, plus these Simply Predicting streams.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just a lot of stuff in store. And then, of course, I would be remiss if I didn't invite everybody watching right now to tune in tomorrow for the Saturday Shenanigans and the 3rd annual Christmas karaoke spectacular. Santa Meech will be in the house. Noah will be residing in his own personal hell. And everybody will be having a wonderful Christmas time. And I think I'm going to go ahead and throw a goal out there right now. If I get a $100 donation tomorrow,
Oh, Jesus.
El Renegado de la Lucha Libre will do Feliz Navidad.
Bah! Oh, wow. All right. Well, you heard it here, folks, first, and we will definitely make sure that's across the banner and the ticker as, of course, we continue our presentations this weekend between Holiday Rampage, Bring Up Our File Battle, and Christmas Collision tomorrow night. So thank you for that, JJ. And again, good luck in the predictions. And I look forward to, of course, seeing what the heck happens on Rampage and enduring whatever you all try and do to me tomorrow while I have my Mario Kart and Balatro. So I will be fine. I will prevail. I will succeed. I will be fine this holiday season, to say the least. Because
as far as Rampage tonight, it depends if I get a color analyst, because you're going to have Walter and James with you doing a 3-man booth for Honor. Yeah. I don't have anybody.
Well, worst case scenario, if we don't do it, maybe I'll just do a simple summary of it afterwards. Or I'm crazy enough, I'll do like a whole retro call with King or me and somebody else tomorrow before Christmas Collision. Because as far as tomorrow goes, the only thing we have on the radar is Christmas Collision, as the Continental Classic will continue. We got matches, of course, with Shelton Benjamin and Daniel Garcia, Will Ospreay and Ricochet, MJF and Adam Cole will go face-to-face, and much more as, of course, we head towards World's End. And then that's it as far as what we might do all the way through Christmas, because with Christmas, it's about family. Wrestling is secondary. So depending on everyone's schedule, time, and fatigue, because boys are going to be a lot of it, you might get AEW Christmas Time on 34th Street, folks. It is all up in the air. Otherwise, we will delay that and maybe do that next week, the same day, as we all gather to say adieu to Rampage once for all with the New Year's Smash. And again, all this stuff emanates from the HammerStein Ballroom, which is absolutely insane to say the least for Tony Khan and AEW. Tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday, all the things from the HammerStein Ballroom.
All the wrestling from the HammerStein Ballroom.
Damn it, literally.
And I would like, if I may, to throw my hat in the ring to be on your impromptu year-end celebration on Thursday.
I would absolutely welcome and enjoy you being part of it. I'm sure King would as well. We 3 wise men celebrating wrestling and welcoming the year's end and looking back on Rampage greatest moments, like the Bunny. Yeah. And, of course, Penelope Ford taking on Ty J, still my favorite women's street fight ever in Rampage history. I absolutely welcome that. I know he does, too. And with that being said, folks, we thank you, and I hope that you all enjoyed the discussion. If you want to know more about me, I'm not going to be redundant because, again, we're just starting this freaking weekend. Between today and tomorrow, we're going to be constantly redundant and busy. Follow me if you choose on the social medias, primarily the Twix and YouTube, and then Foster 9016 for all things wrestling. I'm just going to give it to you. Primarily, all I focus on, of course, is predictions and shared content here in the Stupid Bible Studios. I only wish to encourage you to adjust your life and enjoy wrestling too. With that being said, you got about 2 hours. So grab some pizza, get ready for Honor tonight, get ready for a Rampage, get ready for the SmackDown if you so choose to. Get ready to enjoy whatever Friday you like to do during it. And of course, the last weekend before Christmas and the holidays, you might as well wrap up everything, not just Christmas presents, but your shopping and your budget. I just got done spending my last paycheck, so there I am, broke till the new year too. So there you go. But
so again, karaoke is a big deal for you tomorrow then, because that could be some money that you get. Help you get through the holidays to New Year's since you're broke right now.
Maybe. We'll see what happens, and we'll see what the wheel dictates and what the people try and do to me. Lord help me. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll just leave it at that. Because again, all this is still up in the air as far as how we're covering it, but we're covering it regardless. So stay tuned tonight for Ring of Honor Battle, tomorrow for Christmas Collision, and we'll see how we handle AEW Diamond on 34th Street and New Year's Rampage. Shoot, 34th Street might be done the 26th for all we care. We'll see. And again, folks, we just want to encourage you to enjoy wrestling too. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Please just got a comment, tell a friend. Christmas Collision in the background. Again, hit the subscribe button to let us know where you all can, of course, keep up with us. We'll know when we've got new content. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to know when the new video goes live. I assure you, our passion, content, creativity, content especially, good God almighty, is not limited anytime soon. In fact, it sounds like it's increasing because we're crazy. And we're going to level up the Super Rebel Studios one way or another, insert coin, with at least gaming content, whether it's podcasts and Let's Plays, or whether it's Let's Plays and Jackbox parties welcoming all of you. Stay tuned as Super Rebel Studios levels up into 2025 with far more than just wrestling and sports and combat, to say the least, and movies. But until then, we're going to power it down, as Patilla would say, to prepare for Real Bell. So again, thank you all for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the conversation. And as always, as Eva Kabani would say, happy wrestling, everybody. Make a positive impact in life. We will see you later tonight. But until then, have a nice day, folks. And thanks for tuning in to Simply Predicting. This has been Ring of Honor Final Battle. The final battles await tonight from the HammerStein Ballroom. Let's go, JJ. Have a good one, folks. See you in a few hours.
Bye, guys.
He's not the learning tree, and neither am I. And if I was to give lessons, I don't give them for free. But damn it, JJ, you had to bring up that gimmick. All the time, we got to go back to the gimmick barrage. Freaking Chris Jericho, gimmick number 37 of freaking 45. What the hell's going to happen next after a learning tree is freaking cut down with an axe and you yell timber? Dadgummit. Freaking Ghost of Christmas Past when he goes back and turns back the clock on the millennium. All right, I'm hitting the button. Have a good one, folks. Dadgummit. And doggone you, Chris Jericho. Why? Why must you put me through this enduring madness? Thanks, guys.